is derived from the leaves of the coca plant. When cocaine enters the body, it has a strong effect on body functions by acting as an irritant on the brain. Large overdose of cocaine causes convulsions, then death. Cocaine causes unusual and often unpredictable feelings and actions. In his ignorance, Marty took that dare, little knowing the eventual horror that lay in the deadly white powder.
Marty, have you seen the painting shears I bought last week? Can't seem to find them anywhere. Marty, you don't see right. I'm worried about you. There's something wrong. I'm going to take you down to Dr. Peters this afternoon for a checkup.
No, I'm all right.
As his body gradually built up a tolerance, he needed more and more of the drug. Unpredictable feelings.
Okay, check. Hopefully mic is working. You know, listeners, it's very key if you are listening right now. Feel free to interact. You gotta turn off this music. Okay, beautiful. K.I.S.S Recovery 101. Bridge Sky, your host tonight. It's Sunday. Hope you all had a great week. And comments are open. That means you right now listening. Say hi, okay? Also, feel free to have questions. I have a great guest with me, special guest tonight. And we're going to be talking about altruism. I hope I said it right.
You did.
I had to Google it. Just to get a clear definition. I love the definition. But I guarantee that the perception of this concept can be very different, one-sided. There can be many different opinions. So that's why, again, K.I.S.S Recovery, keep it simple, stupid. We got to keep it simple for myself because I can be stupid. So let me take off the spanner. Okay, here we go. Okay, now for some reason, I cannot hear myself. So I'm hoping other people can hear me. Okay, now I can. All right, so guest, I'm going to let you just introduce yourself. I have Miss Ashley Sunderland here. I really would like you to talk about the sober curator. Now, I don't know about this. I don't know if you know this, but I've been hearing about you as the sober curator for a while now, especially since summer.
Okay.
So, from multiple people, Adam, Bahana, Lifto from Toon Citizen. Okay. So, a lot of shout outs. And so, I know they've all been saying, you got to connect with her. And so here you are. I'm super excited. So why don't you just say hello? And then maybe if you have any shout outs, anybody who might be listening, and also get closer.
Okay.
My mic is touchy. So if I move it around a lot, it'll stop
We're
working.
close, girl.
And, but yeah, talk about yourself and the sober curator. And then we're going to go into this subject tonight.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me. I'm just honored to be here and to finally meet you in person. I feel like we're buddies already, but
I feel that way too. We're going out.
yeah, right. Shout outs, mom, dad, sister,
Anybody listen? Well, I get to the comments in case anybody's listening.
my best friend Michelle, and everyone else out there. That's all I
Okay.
got for
Tell us
shout-outs.
about the silver curator. What is that? I looked at the website. It looks
Okay.
pretty awesome.
Are you gonna read?
Oh, should I read the post?
Yeah, just because
Let's read the post just so we can get it. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm so sorry.
botching it. Or...
I was very late. Well, 10. I still had 10 minutes, but turns out I forgot the key. Then I realized I might not have payment on my StreamYard. I don't have cash on my card, so if I need to make a payment, I won't be able to make a payment. So yeah, we were cutting it close. But okay, let me look at what I posted. I just gonna go on Facebook is what I call it, and go right into my group. So the reason, I don't know if you want to know this actually,
Yeah, I
is
do.
the Facebook group for K.I.S.S recovery is private.
Yes.
Because I do like people to feel comfortable, and if they're very not out loud and they want to remain anonymous, they can, I don't remember if it's check or uncheck the box and stay anonymous, so they can keep their identity, but that way they're free to still share their thoughts and comments. But I also have the YouTube, so that is public and
Yes.
open and recorded.
And I'm subscribed.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm scared to read. I'm not going to hit see more. I think it might start playing. Okay, it says altruism is the practice of intentionally living considerate for the well-being of others above oneself. Selfless acts of helping people without expecting anything in return. Easier said than done? How do you find a balance in recovery when everyone tells you to put yourself first? What do you think of that?
Well, I think that
Get right up close to it. Kiss it.
I think it's just an inaccurate message, like a lot of the messages that we hear in Alcoholics Anonymous these days. It is not a selfish program. It is a program of altruism and other-centeredness.
Yes. Speak to the mic.
Okay. Other-centeredness, like I said. And I also didn't know what altruism was until February 14th of this year, when I listened to an episode of my sponsor's podcast. She wasn't my sponsor at the time, but a coworker of mine suggested that I listen to it. And
What's your podcast?
it is called That's Not in the Book.
That's not in the book. I love
Yes.
it.
And she's anonymous on her podcast. She goes by Agent X, and she lives in Australia, but she's from Minnesota originally, which is just a crazy coincidence. And she was talking about altruism and a place where it says in the big book, in the doctor's opinion, that that basically it's an altruistic program. AA is an altruistic spiritual program. So I pulled over and Googled altruism.
Did you too?
Yes, I did, because I'd heard the word before, but I didn't quite know what it meant. So yeah.
And so I would say, for me, fresh coming in, there was a lot of big things over my head that I didn't really connect with right away, first off. And where I sit today now, though, I can definitely still see what I think the intention was originally, but looking forward, being where I'm at now, I've had to find a balance and a connection in my own. So when I asked you, do you have a topic or whatever, first thing that came to my mind was, oh, is this that self-will versus God will shit? Sorry.
And yes, it is.
And I shared a post with you because I think a year ago, I found that there was, because I was going to a lot of meetings, if my spotsies are new and they're just trying to find a meaning, a home meeting or whatever, and they're not, particular, I will go to a bunch of different meetings and I love it anyway. Yeah. Especially when nobody knows me and they think I'm wise. I'm saying all these things, but I loved. I noticed a trend of what bothers me with that whole theme is that a lot of people, to me, this is my perception, my opinion, tend to hide behind God's will. Oh, well, it was God's will this happened. It was God's will that this happened, good or bad. I'm not saying it matters either way, but that started to become a pet peeve of mine because I find that God is, if the higher power or whatever, it's not, I don't think the intention is to sit here like the higher power would have that has not enough time to sit and pick at each person of your will should be this and that. Like, I would imagine that if I was a parent, I'm hoping that my children are making those decisions and becoming those people that I foresee them to be, but I'm not going to nitpick and I'm not going to have all this like control. I don't imagine my higher power would be so controlling. I find that a lot of people would be like, well, I did these things, but then God's will pushed me to this way. And especially when it would bother me even more when good things would happen and it'd say, well, it was God's will that I got this and this. And so me and my roommate Sarah went to a couple of these meetings. We both, one of them just sat and talked and we're like, fuck that. It's your will. You did it. Take the credit. And when something doesn't go wrong, that just means when something didn't go your way, I feel like that's a lesson. That just means there's something missing or something else you need to dig into. But I don't like to use that theme of God or higher powers will. But what I do love about now this altruism is, for me now, I've been practicing recovery Dharma. I've been really aligning with the Buddhists. Just everything about that, the wisdoms there, and definitely it seems like their whole belief is we are meant to be selflessness, have that selflessness, and even with all living creatures. So I find that beautiful. So you look like you got something to say.
Well, can I read what you sent me?
Yes.
So, and I absolutely resonate with what you're saying. In fact, I think I use the phrase others centered more than self-will or God's will, if you will. Because that makes sense to me, right? To be others centered, right? And so what you sent me, and I'll read it here quick, really resonated, and I totally agree. So you sent me a post from Sober and Serious. What if self-will starts to align with the greater spirit or creator or universe? As my self-will becomes more balanced and centered with my soul and spirit connecting in love, I believe I do not need to choose between self-will versus God's will. The focus can change and synchronize towards unity of one will, to be one with self and spirit. And it reminded me immediately of page 86 on Upon Awakening, where it says God gave us brains to use, right? So it's that God consciousness, right? That sort of like launched into the fourth dimension of, right?
Yeah.
And so I keep backing away from this thing. There's a page. Well, let me find it. And
well, I guess too, also now on the other side of it too, I think about new in recovery, right? Maybe I just spent many years being forced into recovery. Okay. So that really didn't work for me. So, but that back then my mind wasn't clear, and my thought process was definitely, it was hard to even grasp what the hell everybody was talking about. But I've always been a selfless person. Now looking back though, that was a lot due to my trauma. That was a lot due to the people pleasing, a lot to do with putting everybody else's needs and values above my own. And because back, then I was hoping that would instill that I would be worthy of love. It's taken me 4 years to figure these big gems out. But I think so. I love this whole theme, but I think now I do sponsor, or mentor or guide or whatever. I think for me though, key walking in, because a person like myself was so broken and so damaged, I needed to put myself first. I needed to put my recovery first, and I needed to be selfish. So it's so hard. I feel like that's why it's important to find those meetings or those mentors that you connect with and you align with their perception. Because for me now, I did the sponsor shuffle. It wasn't until I felt my Marcy that things started to make sense, because I feel like her heart her spirit's very similar to mine.
Mhm.
And she was that voice that was like, no, you need to be put first. No, I want to hear your side of this thing. I'm on
Mhm.
your side.
Yeah.
Because I was so quick to put everyone else above me until I lost everything and realized nobody was there for me at the end of the day. So it's so important, I think, to work with people and find those groups or support groups or whatever, your tribe, your circle. Start small. That's what I did. Start small. Trust was hard. But finding those ones that connect, that I felt trust and love in, because in the beginning, especially that first year, now I make sure all my sponsees, I want them to put themselves first. And that was not natural for me to do that. So I had to learn how to do that. I still to this day, like I have new sponsees now still, I still have to keep them like trying, not pushing it on them. Like that was another thing. If you try to push something on me, I'm going to fight you with it. But I try to just ask certain questions that I know my intention is to maybe bring to the forefront. But are you putting yourself first? Because at the end of the day, my example is if I didn't put my recovery first and myself first, nothing else mattered. And I didn't understand that until the only thing that mattered was my kids were taken away from me. Once they were taken away from me, the only reason for living at that time, that's when I realized, oh, now I understand why I have to put myself first. But for me, that sounded selfish. So it's very back and forth. But did you find what you were looking for in the book?
Well, gosh, there's so many things. I just wanted to read what I sent you in response to what you sent me. And that is the Upon Awakening reading on page 86. And I'll just read these couple sentences.
Go for it.
So it says that we consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, or self-seeking motive. Under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance, for after all, God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our thinking is cleared of wrong motives. Right? So that's like, my thinking is different now, right? I'm on a new footing. I've entered the spirit of the universe, this God consciousness, right? Which reminds me of the One Will reading that you sent me. So yeah, I think we're on the same page here.
Yes, I agree. Sorry if the post made it seem like I was trying to debate you.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't think it was at all.
Here's the funny part: is I could go both ways. I like to have dialogues and just to be able to, give a voice to both sides, because I definitely always can see both sides. And sometimes when I can, I sit and I marinate on it for a while. So I feel like, what would you say if anyone first time listening and keeping it simple, right? Because altruism is a new word for me. So say someone's new. What would you want the main point or the main takeaway to be for someone new listening, keeping it simple? What would you want them to walk away from? What would be that wisdom pearl, I call it? Pearls of wisdom.
Gosh, now let me find it here.
Like when you had that conversation with your sponsor, and she talked about it, what was the gist of that?
Well, I think that along with the altruism stuff, was a new understanding of what the program was all about, which I can't find it now. I know the page numbers are in my head. Oh, here we go. Page 45. Well, that's exactly what this book is about. Its main object is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problems, all of your problems. And it doesn't even say alcohol there.
Right.
Right. Because my understanding of sponsorship is that the role of a sponsor is to connect you with that power that will help you solve your problems. So my sponsor said, I teach God dependence, not sponsor dependence. She's like, don't effing call me every day. She's like, I'm busy, Right. She's like, pray about it. And at the time that made sense to me because this was just last February, March that we started working together. So I was already 4 and some years in recovery or recovered because the compulsion to drink has been removed. And I believe the only reason why I've been able to stay sober is because I've been seeking. And God doesn't make too hard a terms for those who seek him. So I heard an accurate message when I heard it, and I'm in a little bit of an evangelist AA phase, but just try to remember to say things that are helpful instead of exclusive or excluding people.
Right.
Which introducing myself as recovered does that.
It can.
It's very controversial.
It
But the
can
book
be.
tells us to introduce ourselves as that.
Correct.
So, I guess it just depends on the audience. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach an accurate message as a counselor. So I feel like that's part of my responsibility, is to teach my clients about all the pathways. And I also love Dharma recovery and other pathways. But now that I know the truth, or I know what I know, I feel like I have to pass that on. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, and I love that. And what you just read there to me now sounds different. So that's what's beautiful about going through the book and the steps and all that with different times in my life over and over again, is for me that power now comes from within.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't believe in a specific God or him or her or any of that, because I feel like a higher power is not going to have a him or a her. It's above. That's a human thing. Label him or her. It's above all things. But for me, it's like the universe. It's like, I mean, when my higher powers changed many times, but right now I'm working towards this higher version of myself. Like I feel like there's a higher version of myself that I'll always be seeking, and I found power in that. Ooh, you like the alarm sound?
Yeah.
It's disco. Okay, that's just to remind us to listeners, please feel free to interact, questions, comments, anything you got to say for either of us. Ashley, Sunderland. Am I saying that right? Sunderland.
Yeah.
Okay, that reminds me. However, I would like to talk about Sober Curator.
Yeah. Oh, we're
Okay.
going to read the...
Do you want me to
Sober
read what your website says?
Yes.
I love how
please.
that also, when I went to it, it
Yeah.
has the definition right there
What?
of a curator.
Oh, yes.
So,
yeah. Right.
You know what's also interesting is I attended this Mobilized Recovery. There's like these little training class sessions you could still take online right now, where there's different groups that teach them. This last one I went to was a bit interesting. Okay, now I'm not thinking, I'm just talking. So mind you. But okay, I liked the people that they had talking. And they were talking about how we shouldn't be using the word. This guy was saying how he hates the word stigma, because a lot of people don't even know what that is. And I was like, that is true.
Yeah.
Until I started working at Minnesota Recovery Connection, then now moved on and got into the recovery arena. Still, people have no idea what stigma is, right?
Yeah.
It's really just like prejudice. Why don't we just say prejudice? Okay. But then here's the funny part. As they're talking and sharing, they kept talking about silos. We need to build those silos here, blah, 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 silos there. I'm like, well, what the fuck is a silo?
Yeah,
See, are you a hypocrite? Why did you use smaller words? But I felt like I didn't want to interrupt the whole big group conversation, but to say, okay, you kind of just went back. You're confusing me, because yes, now I understand. I like that, what they're saying. I'm going to try now, actually, not to start off with stigma if I'm working with somebody new as a client, because I'm a certified peer recovery specialist. But I'm not going to use the word stigma, because they were right. But then I still don't know what they meant by silos. We kept talking about those a lot. No.
Oh, okay.
I was like, nah. I got other things to look up.
Right.
But so let me go to your website quick, and then it's interesting. Oh, and we do have the hot seat, so just be ready for that.
Oh, yeah.
I love how you're this sober. Now, how did you come about the Sober Curator? I'm gonna let you talk a little bit how you found your position there, what you do there, and then you have a cool thing on Wednesdays, right?
Is
it Wednesdays?
Yes. Well, it's not regular anymore.
You write
but
or something?
Yeah, my Sober Sweat blog. So it was my first job as a counselor at a treatment facility in Burtonsville, and the Sober Curator followed me on Instagram, and I just checked out the website and fell in love with the content and found the resources page, which has resources of different cities all over the country, and Minnesota wasn't on there. Twin Cities was on there. And we're the right treatment capital of the
Oh yeah.
right. So I reached out on Facebook Messenger to the sober curator and said, hey, I'm a person in recovery. I'm live in Minnesota. I'd love to contribute to your resource page if that's an option. And that's where,
Cool.
yeah, it also, so that was in 2020, I think.
Okay.
And my first article or post was a list of podcasts. And then it's just grown. We're an international group of people now, and I have a lifestyle blog called Sober Sweat, which is fitness and nutrition and recovery. And I contribute to some of the other sections like curated crafts, and we have Sobriety in the City.
Okay.
So there's only 3 cities, I think, that have their own page, and in Minneapolis, St. Paul is one of them.
Very cool.
And I'm just about to send an article about the 7th Street Entry Twin Citizen concert coming up. So that'll be on there. And then the hockey recovery night. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, because I love how it says, okay. It says curator, noun, curators, plural noun, a keeper or custodian of a museum or other collection, the curator of drawings. Okay, synonyms are custodian, keeper, conservator, guardian, caretaker, a person who selects acts to perform at a musical festival. So please think of us as your sober concierges. I think I said that right. Mm-hmm. Are you rocking a lifestyle without alcohol? The Sober Curator is your ultimate resource for all things related to recovery and zero-proof living. With a team of passionate volunteers at the helm, we are on a mission to curate, review, and contribute only the best content related to the sober lifestyle. I love that. Mm-hmm. So you can just come up with your own piece of whatever you want to create, and then you what do you submit it, and then they have to pre-edit, pre-approve or something?
Yeah, so Elise is the CEO and founder, and she lives in Seattle, and I put in a Word document and do some image attachments and just send it off to her with links and whatever else. And she is a media guru and worked for one of the biggest lifestyle magazines in Seattle and the news station, so she knows what she's doing. I wish I knew more about that stuff, but she puts it all together and
awesome.
Publishes it, and yeah. So
cool.
We were in a meeting together on Zoom, and I was talking to her about my new gym membership, and which was a couple of years ago, and that I was really loving this community that I had established at my gym, and wanted to do a fitness and nutrition recovery section, and we just were brainstorming and came up with Sober Sweat, and
love it.
Yeah. So in 2024, I plan to do more writing, but it's not as much just because counseling is a hard job.
Oh,
exhausting.
Girl, tell me about that. That's why I'm about to leave the country.
What?
I'm about to leave the country tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Costa Rica recovery.
Tomorrow. Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like I have everything done.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that soon. I did check out the website.
Yeah, I'll be gone 10 days. I'm going to go visit my friend J.R. Weaver. He's at the Costa Rica, I think, in San Jose. Then there's another Costa Rica recovery center in Nosara.
Wow.
Nosara. My roommate Sarah and I are going. Girls trip.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, it's been a long time since I've been on a trip. Just a bestie.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever have, actually.
Well, my best girlfriend and I we were just talking last night. We worked together at New Way, and we were just talking last night about going on a retreat somewhere together. But,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, here's the funny part. So Sarah's like, hey, we should go on just a girl's vacation. And in my head, I was like, she's like, where do we go? Think about some places. And in my head, I'm like, I know people in Costa Rica. Because JR posts amazing pictures of the scenery and how beautiful it looks there. Yeah. So I was like, what do you think of Costa Rica? I didn't mention anything about the recovery or that I know JR. She's like, oh, yes, I love it. And she's looking up all these things. And I'm like, oh, by the way, I got the hookup over there. We're gonna go visit the recovery center.
Was she in recovery?
Yes, yes. Okay. And what I love about everything that they do over there is where I'm aligned with is the holistic side of things, right? Mm-hmm. Here it feels like in the U.S. it's all about medications and
90 and 90, which is not an AA thing.
That's a joke. No, I'm just kidding. But treatments, and it's all clinical, and they pay people to care. Where I feel like it has to be, like they always say, it's person-centered, it's an individual, whatever. That's
Yeah.
bullshit. Okay, I've been to a few treatments. That's what they put on the front to get your insurance money. But what I love about what I see at Costa Rica Recovery is it's really finding really what you connect with, and through the physical things. That's what I love that you're doing the physical portion of it, because just breathing makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But they do yoga, and they do hikes, and okay, I don't know, I don't like extraneous exercise. I'm not talking about exercise here, but sound therapy.
Yes.
Like they do these physical elements where, especially new in recovery, I couldn't think straight. I didn't want to be in my mind. My mind was like a bad neighborhood. Never want to go there alone. And it was torturous to have to sit here and pick at all the things I had done wrong and why I'm a bad person. That's how I felt. Where, like how it seems over there, they more focus on getting you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually sound and calmed and balanced before they start digging into your trauma.
Right. Yeah.
And when you feel ready, not force you into it, get through these steps. Like that's why a lot of people don't like A and the 12 steps, is because a lot of places they're like, you got to do this and this and this before you leave. Well, you can't force anybody. And I don't like, it used to be abstinence based, right? Well, you can't punish somebody into abstinence. You can't punish someone into recovery. And the only time that it worked for me was when I felt like I had a choice. So, okay, just totally went on a rant. And
I love it.
Ooh, perfect timing. 8:29, which means the alarm's about to sound. That means it's going to be hot seat time. Ashley, you ready?
It's hot in here.
Ooh, it does get warm, but that is on purpose. Here we go. Oh, yeah. See, my mind goes all over the place. And we have a conversation, I'll forget that it's a live show, and I need to follow. I try to keep it to an hour, and the only way I can do that, set these alarms to keep to the segments. So this segment's called the hot seat. Hold on, I got sound effects that I specifically uploaded. Ooh, that's a crackling fire hot sound, which is the hot seat. So, Ashley, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So these are 3 hot, heavier, deeper questions. They're not just your go over a cup of coffee questions, but they're not meant to like give you anxiety or stress you out. They're really just meant to, maybe somebody listening, the way you answer, they might feel like, oh, yeah, I vibe with that. I connect with that.
Cool.
So be real with it, but only share what you feel comfortable, of course.
Sure.
It's like, I literally there's still, every time comes, I'm going to say his name, but there was a guest that avoided like the plague every question, totally distracted. I knew what he was doing
How
too.
did you do that?
Oh, I'll tell you after who it was, and you listen to the show, you'll be like, wow, yep, spot on. You didn't answer any of your questions.
Yeah, I'll listen to it later.
Okay, so
You'll get some good tips on.
question number 1, Ashley. In your first, I'd say 6 months of recovery, who was the hardest people that you had to let go of or take space from that you might have realized was kind of part of the problem? Or one person. You don't have to name up the list.
Jeez. Well, my ex-boyfriend.
Get right up on that.
My ex-boyfriend that I was living with, and in hindsight, had no business being with in the first place because all we had in common was drinking. So that was a good move right in the beginning. But I also realized that I moved into a sober house, and that was like the one thing that I did not want to do, but I knew I had to do things differently. So I did it, and I really gave my parents the space that they deserved and needed, even though they offered for me to stay with them and have just been unconditionally devoted to me and my younger sister, who is also in recovery. But I knew that I needed to give them some time to heal and just get back to their own lives and their own sanity and peace of mind. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm. I was a big burden.
Well,
Rob them of
go ahead. Sorry.
just rob them of emotional security and peace of mind for 20 years or 15 years. So yeah.
Well, that's really sweet. Actually, I think that's very genuine and kind that you say that. And I think that as a parent, like I'm in the struggles with my daughter right now. We are taking space. She's now living with her dad. Oh, it makes me want to cry. But it's needed because at this time, as her mom who unconditionally loves her, I constantly get this little spark of hope as soon as she says something responsible or she says, gives me a reason to trust her. And in 1 day or 2 days, boom, she just like throws it right back at me. But I feel like parents, your parents, me as a parent, mean well. But what I've learned through Thrive, which is a great
Yes, I know
group,
about
Thrive, okay. Similar to Al-Anon, but nothing like them, actually. I love Thrive. But they teach those people that are trying to support us how to do that, mostly by focusing what's going on with them and then focusing on what the things are that they can and cannot control. Because drive yourself crazy. I'm driving myself crazy. Try to not control her, but I know what her path and her choices are leading to.
Right.
For God's sakes.
We want to save her. Yes. We don't want her to struggle or suffer. And I don't have children, but my younger sister, I've seen her struggle at times before she was in recovery, and I kind of have a taste of it. And it just is the worst, the worst thing ever. To love someone so much and not be able to do anything really to save them. And it's just heartbreaking because I talk to parents, a lot, and I feel for them sometimes more than my own clients, I think, these days, because I know what, I've witnessed what it does just in my parents' lives. And that's probably the most miraculous thing about what's happened in the last 5 years is this healing that's gone on between my parents and my sister and I, and just, yeah.
Beautiful. And yes, sisters are like children. I mean, like your first, my little sister was like my first child. Looking back, totally. So that was a good standpoint to learn from. But I've literally been talking with my therapist about things going on with my daughter, and we realized this is my inner big sister that comes out with my daughter. Ugh. Okay. Question number 2. That was great answer. Okay. Now, where you sit today presently. Okay. When you notice there's someone that is an energy sucker, they just suck the happiness right out of you. How are you? Okay, so says I'm a retired people pleaser. Do you have certain boundaries, or do you have certain language or actions that you use to take space from those people? Or how do you, kind of, I wouldn't say break those relationships or take a pause on those relationships, but how do you, when you notice someone is just a dark cloud person in your life today, how do you handle that?
Oh gosh. Yeah, well, there are some practices that I have discussed with a coach who is one of the sober curators. Her and I worked together a few years ago, and it had to do with my counseling and how do I sort of decompress after a difficult group or a difficult individual session. And we came up with some things that I don't do on a regular basis, but I should do more often. And one of them was like to go in the bathroom and wash my hands with cold water or something, which sounds kind of silly, but it's sort of like a ritual and just a practice that gets me thinking about just letting go of whatever
I love
that was, that I just, that energy. But today, I was
holidays coming up.
Right. Well, today I was talking to my sister on the phone, and she brought up something that I didn't want to hear, and I hung up on her. So that was really bad.
That's called that's a red line boundary.
That was a what?
So in the book of boundaries, Melissa Urban,
I don't
there's
know.
red, yellow, and green boundaries. So there's green, there's yellow, and then there's red, which means you've done told them multiple times, and now you're gonna set that boundary that lets them know that you're serious.
Yeah, it was bad behavior on my part. And I did apologize to her. We had a discussion about it afterwards. But yeah, that's how I dealt with that one, which wasn't probably the best way. So what's a green boundary? What's an example of a green boundary?
So if someone says, so for me, I have a lot of these boundaries, especially with my ex partners. Okay, too specific. And green was, okay, don't cuss at me, don't call me names, or I end the conversation, right? Let that go. I did that. And I was married to one for 10 years, so that was kind of his go-to. So then yellow came into play, and I said, okay, now you done calling me this name, and you're raising your voice, and you're cussing at me. So I'm going to end this conversation now. I end the conversation. The last time now, I've had to enforce the red boundary. He immediately started the cussing at me and calling me names. I blocked his ass. That's the red boundary.
Okay. Yeah. No, I love that. Not
took a
cool.
pause.
Do not swear at me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Not okay. Right.
But it's a great book.
Yeah.
But what's great is you just kind of learn. It's different with each person. Like I find with my children, it's different with those boundaries are different with each child, and also with different people. You got to be flexible. So like my daughter is a prime example of trying to be flexible because she can't think clearly. Like her brain is in that full. I'm reading a lot of books, but she's emotionally thinking about things. So I'm trying to keep it simple with her.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to be finding that balance. But right now, after our last interaction on her birthday, there's going to be just a temporary long-term pause between us. So unfortunately, it's gotten to that point. But okay.
Yeah. So I call flexible like the flexibility and boundaries. Thick skin, tender heart.
Oh yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the point is like boundaries are meant for the people that you do want to keep in your life in a sense, especially if you're taking and doing the green, yellow, red, multiple. That for me, that's my way of saying I want you in my life, but this is how this is going to happen, because there was a lot of people finally when this last run through on my recovery, as I said, for my mental health and for my recovery, I cannot have you in my life. I cut out everybody because I knew, what do they say? Nothing changes unless nothing changes. And the only thing you have to change is everything.
Right. Or whatever you're not changing, you're choosing.
Yes.
Right?
Ooh, that's
yeah.
my favorite.
And I do have some really great things that I use in group. And one of them is, it's called boundary statements for inner peace. And one of them is, I'm prioritizing rest right now, or something like that.
Yes.
And one of them is, I don't participate in gossip.
Yes.
And sort of ways to say no with loving kindness, which is really important, but also to say no and to not, to be a little rigid with certain boundaries, right? But
yes.
yeah.
Well, and when I went to that mobilized recovery,
yes,
awesome thing, you coming next year?
Well, I would love to. And
You're
it's on
in.
my bucket list.
Yes, you're definitely going to be in. I found that though we all went there for the same purpose, right? Mobilizing recovery and advocating. There was a handful of people that I definitely did not have the same mindset and did not like their vibe, and I did not like their energy. So it didn't mean so there was a lot of conversations that I just went to negative town, or they just had this whatever standpoint. I could just tell that they were not open to, new ideas or other versions. Even if I agreed with them, that's the funny part. I might agree with what they were actually saying, but how they were saying it, I just walk away, and I did not associate with them the rest of the conference.
Sounds like a lot of ego.
100% egos, personalities,
Right.
definitely. Okay, last and final question. You ready? Okay, because holidays are coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, we just had one, but there's another one coming up. So now, have you had to have moments? Now you can talk about past or or coming up where you've had to leave certain holidays, leave certain family dinners, leave certain conversations of folks that feel like you owe them something, or you're expected to follow this traditions because we've always done it? Have you ever had to excuse yourself, or do you feel like coming up, have you had to like prerequisite, I'm not going to partake in certain things, and kind of lay things out that way? So
Well-
let's just think about it. Any holidays coming up that you might have to prepare for?
Not coming up that I have to prepare for, but I suppose the first couple Christmases in recovery were kind of rocky. My sister and I had historically have had a very tumultuous relationship, mostly because of my drinking and what it did to our family. And I think I'm just thinking of this one particular Christmas. I think it was my second Christmas or first Christmas in recovery. And I mean, we just couldn't even be in the same room together, really. And I just remember I think it was probably some depression going on. I just quit smoking as well. And I remember I drove up to New Way, the 3 hours location where I went to treatment on Christmas evening, and I just sat in the parking lot and cried in my car.
Wow.
But I needed to remove myself from the dinner table, and because it just wasn't helpful and it was toxic. And I mean, it's not always easy, right? All this stuff. And I think, like I said, just the healing that's gone on in my family is just amazing. And my sister and I are close now, and I'm the maid of honor in her wedding. And so in hindsight, it was part of the journey.
Beautiful. And we live and we learn, and I keep on learning. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I have a lot to learn.
Yes. Well, I'm sure I'll learn more this coming holiday. I know for the last one that just passed,
Thanks, Eve.
had all the plans, right, for my two youngest to go visit their family and dad. And right up until the couple days before, plans changed. He wanted to take my kids to another state, and his mom wasn't really saying anything. And I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and say no. X on those plans, because at this time, based on this last heated conversation that came out of nowhere.
He swore at you at?
Oh, definitely. I'm going to go ahead and keep them here. Now, but that's the key with boundaries. They got to be kind, clear, and for me, simple. Like, might as well not tell it yourself. Might as well not put more shit out there to be attacked or anybody to be defensive. So I made a point to not say, and forget fucking Christmas too. No.
Right.
Or, I really felt like I wanted to say something to his mom. Like she didn't have nothing to say, like on the standpoint, or, isn't it about the fucking, sorry, I'm done cussing. Isn't it about the kids? Like, isn't that what matters the most? Shouldn't that be, I didn't shit all over myself though. I didn't say none of that. I said, okay, well, we're just going to pass on this Thanksgiving, whatever. Right. Left it there. So just about last week, she did say, "Are we still on for Christmas?" Actually, she said, "Your mother, do you still their grandma? Yeah. Can we confirm Christmas?" Which I thought, ugh, now you're gonna talk to me like that, really?
Say no, we're going out of town.
Okay, and I said yes, but I mean. That doesn't mean that I could not change my mind. Yeah, I'm going to call all the peoples involved and make sure it's going to stick to the plan. Right. Okay? Nobody's going out of state with my children. New peoples. Okay, sorry. Tangent again. Okay, Ashley, you listened to a couple.
I cut your vibe there.
I try not to name names.
Yes.
And, most people, I guarantee a lot of listeners listening either are my closest friends and know who I'm talking about, and they're not shared shit. A lot of people are just new and have no idea who or what I'm talking about.
Who or what you're talking about. So
it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my favorite segment. Last segment. The alarm went off. You did great, by the way. Hot seat. You feel cool?
You're just
feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. No sweating. I don't see no sweating. Oh. Okay. I've had a sweat, so I'm trying to be mindful of those questions. Okay. I like to let that play. It's
What
the
is it?
Have you ever watched the X-Files?
Yeah.
Do,
yeah.
do, do, do. It's like the Illuminati sound.
Oh, sweet.
That's my seg to open up the segment.
Mm.
You're in for a treat. This is your first time listening. This
Mhm.
is my live Facebook memes segment, which is
so
great
good.
because now I've calmed down. Okay, but for a long time at night I would do, what is it called? Doom scrolling. And I would
I've never heard
doom scrolling when you like I go through, it could be social media or whatever. For me, it's just like Facebook.
Okay.
But I used to I would get, that would be my little joy at night, is to see what the fresh memes are because I find them hilarious.
Yeah.
Some of them are inspirational.
Like-
Facebook mostly.
Oh, and you follow meme pages?
No,
Oh.
no, yes, actually, I
Okay.
did do that for a little bit, meme
Mm.
groups, but I started the segment because a bit at night I would be sharing them. Okay, sometimes it's 2 a.m. I'm sharing with Matt or Andrea. You're like, Bridge, I'm sleeping. Seriously.
Well,
I'm
if
like,
anyone
it's
has
so
good
funny.
fitness memes, I'd love to do a
Yeah.
top 23 fitness memes.
Oh,
For Sober Curator, for Sober Sweat.
do like
That's
a
been a thing,
fun
I
one.
think. Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So the last 15 minutes are going to be just memes throughout the week that stuck out to me, that either I thought was hilarious
Okay.
or inspirational or powerful for whatever reason. But I like to share them with you,
Yeah,
Ashley,
I love
and our
it. I love it.
listeners.
So you're just gonna like read it. You're gonna show me and read
you get
them?
to see.
Okay.
I'm going to flash
Okay.
them to you and anyone who has a
Oh,
smartphone.
so, okay. Got
We'll
it.
be able to see. And I just
Cool.
want you, like Facebook Live, like Facebook, just give me your reaction, thumbs up, laugh out loud. You would just keep scrolling. Be honest with.
Love it.
But I know
Doom
for a fact
scrolling.
I do have some listeners that don't have fancy smartphones. So
Mm.
what I'd like you to do is, if there's a picture, try to describe the picture first.
Okay. Me? Okay.
Yes, you.
Oh, okay.
And then read it and then give me your
Okay.
take, okay?
All right,
You
love
ready?
it.
Here we go. And there's only 8, I believe. I used to do like 15. And I realized the
God,
guests were like,
wow.
okay, when is this show over? Okay, like again, live and learn. Okay, first one, intro me. Go ahead and it's just
it
words.
is a gym one.
Yes.
It's a fitness meme. So I
Read it. Just
okay.
read it. Read it.
Going to the gym gives you energy, but you need energy to go to the gym. Sounds like a pyramid scheme to me. And there's really no, it's just the words.
Yes.
There's no image to describe.
And what do you think of that one?
Well, I think, I guess I know what pyramid schemes are, but I suppose it kind of went over my head.
That's because you like working out, actually.
Oh,
I hate
only
working
certain
out.
things. Yeah, I'm with you there.
You're in the whole health thing, okay? So here's the funny part. I hate walking. I hate exercise, but I can do walking, hiking when I have beautiful, great things to look at. Hence,
Yeah.
Costa Rica. I'm super excited for all the hikes, whatever. But I know many people are like, hey, let's go for a walk. I'm like, that's fucking boring. I don't want to go for a walk.
Yeah.
Why do you always want to go for a walk?
Well, you just haven't found your jam, your fitness jam. Because I hated I didn't exercise,
Mm-hmm.
and then I found kickboxing and thought,
Fun.
yeah, and it's a class which keeps me accountable because I won't do it on my own.
Right.
So you just got to find your
Niche.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Next meme, it's Kermit.
Okay, it's Kermit the Frog. One of my biggest faults is that when I ask someone their name, I forget to listen to what their name is. Oh my gosh, I do that all the time. Yes. If I'm nervous.
Yeah.
If I'm really present and paying attention, which is sometimes why I write people's names down. Like if I'm in a class and I'm
I still can't remember. And like I've tried the tricks of like, okay, Mike, I want to remember microphone. Yeah, I got it.
Right.
And then I walk around and then come back and I'm like, oh, yeah, how's it going? I forgot his name. Something simple as Mike.
Right. Yeah. Well, I got you there.
Squirrel
But why
mind.
Kermit? I guess is he
I
forgetful?
love Kermit.
Okay.
That's what draws me to any meme that has Kermit. I'm like, ooh, I got to see what this one says. Okay.
Stop trying to love the red flags out of people. Oh.
That's a heavier one.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you think of that?
And it's just the words in all caps.
Yeah.
It's a black background.
You think there's any truth to
That
that?
might be like a Al-Anon slogan.
Could be.
Maybe, right?
Yeah.
A little codependency anonymous. I mean, I get it. It's sort of like what we were talking about with my sister and your daughter and Yeah.
I feel like as a born female, it's hard because especially when I love someone, I see their faults all over the place, but I'm always giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm always like, but I know they're a good person. I know they're going to do well. You know, I know they mean well, but looking back, that was a huge character flaw because I was like giving them all the grace and shitting on myself.
Right.
And then I turned it into blaming myself.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's my fault he did this or did that to me.
Oh, that's called victim shaming or blaming. I just learned about,
both.
So you need to save those people on your phone as show a little respect for yourself, Brit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Oh, there's two key people I would not have in my life if we didn't share children together. But I still have respect
I'm grateful
for
I
them.
don't have that experience.
I do still have love for them. I care for them as people, and I do know that they are good-hearted people at the root of it. But they're very disrespectful, and it's very hard to be loving and kind and clear with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Oh, that was kind of hard to see.
Okay, so I think it's what, Luke Skywalker? Is
Yes,
that right?
the original.
So it's a picture of his face. Me taking one last look at the AA meeting before I leave without putting away one single chair. Right.
Or cleaning up. Do you do that?
What?
Do you do that?
I don't go to many meetings in person.
Do you leave though when they're like, oh, you just see people start cleaning up?
I'll always take a chair.
And
Put a chair away.
Put it away?
Yeah.
I don't. No, if I'm new, I'm just like antisocial. Get anxiety.
Well, I haven't been new for a while, I guess. So, I mean, that's just called a taker.
I just like his face because, especially in the beginning. Oh, I've gone to the 2218 Minneapolis a lot. Okay, but I just went to I've gone to a couple recent ones there, special events or speaker. They do a comedian thing, and they're all putting the chairs away, and I'm like, I'm not gonna put a chair away. I didn't make no money off this shit. I don't know.
You don't have to. Right?
But early on, it was just because I was so anxiety. I just had to leave. I didn't want anyone to look at me or tell me I'm doing it wrong.
Well, which is not okay because someone should have approached you, right? We talked about that with Wally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Do you follow Sarcastic AA on Instagram? Do you know what that is?
No.
Oh my gosh, you've got to.
Send me the link.
I will.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
It's a book. Oh,
Here's
it's
another
amazing.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
Get ready. It's a cat.
Oh, jeez. So this is a cat support group cartoon.
Yeah.
And
they're all sitting around on chairs.
There's 4 of them sitting in chairs, like at an AA meeting. Cat support groups. One of them says, "My people don't understand me." The other says, "Once I start licking myself, I can't stop." The third says, "My best friend is a dog." And the fourth, "I hate fur." Oh my gosh. That's good. I should take that for my group therapy and send it to my fellow counselors.
Yeah.
So that's great.
It is great. That's why it's important to find a home, find a meeting you connect with. And I understand the importance of a home group now.
Yes.
Because what's so beautiful with my ladies, Monday nights, bad moms. You don't have to be a mom, by the way. It's for grandmoms, stepmoms, soon-to-be moms, neighbor of a mom, fur
Dog
baby
mom?
moms. Yes, we have a couple of those members.
Cool.
It's mostly, women's. But what's great is, yes, what's wonderful is, yes, we have 2 right now. And everybody's welcome. What's great, or identifies as a woman. When you come in, though, we are I don't know how to describe it. White on rice. We know when a newcomer comes in, we're all just we already know who's gonna. Yeah. We're all gonna pounce on the newcomers. We're all gonna say our things, but we're definitely in tune with. This is a newcomer. She's new to our meeting. Okay, you got the medallion. Okay, you got the card. Okay, you got the phone list. We already start connect. We don't even have to speak. Yeah. We don't even have to share event. None of the stuff like these cats are doing, because we could let the newcomer do all the talking. Yeah. But I also noticed, especially with the newcomer, especially with the people that have been members have been coming in my home group for a while, we bring out our bad wisdoms, our badass wisdoms. So whatever we're reading, I just noticed those key ladies that I love, that we make what we share kind of more specific or relatable to a newcomer.
As you should.
Yes.
Love it.
That's the part of the home group is you get that energy, you connect like that.
Yeah.
The trust.
Well,
okay.
Is it in person or just Zoom?
In person and Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
We do both because a lot of female moms are stuck at home.
Right.
Like winter, Minnesota. So yeah, after COVID, we just kept this hybrid meeting going.
Love it. Well, I need a new home group and sponsees. I'm on the hunt, hot in the hunt.
Please
so.
come on in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here's the next one.
Okay, so this is a cartoon of a female steak.
With pearls.
Like the
And
meat
lipstick
kind. Yeah,
and purse.
love it. And a hat. When he falls asleep next to you with his phone unlocked, big mistake. Oh, jeez, that's terrible. Oh my gosh, sounds like a
It's funny to me
unhealthy
on
relationship.
Yes. It's literally a female piece of steak.
Just for the record, I would never do
Miss
that.
Steak. I think that's why she has pearls in a purse.
She's about to go to town.
You better
but-
dress her as Miss Steak.
Mhm. I get it. She's going to go through his phone.
My humor is sometimes very
No, I love it. I get it.
humble. Okay, just words.
The fact that some girls wear extensions and fake eyelashes every day amazes me because I don't even want to put pants on. Mine would be, I don't want to put a bra on.
Oh my God, you just read my
more
mind.
fun.
Seriously, I don't even want to wear a bra ever. And like every morning I wake up, I'm like, now am I going to be going out of the house at all? No,
Right.
not wearing a bra. But then I forget and I go out of the house. I'm like, oh shit, I can't take my jacket off. Not wearing a bra. Ryan, okay.
Cute.
Okay.
That's a little, okay. It's a little blurry.
Two
Also-
slides. Right?
So the scene is
The top scene.
the same scene, but so there's a girl laying on a couch and she's seen a counselor or therapist or something. And he's got a pad and he's writing something. So the top picture says, "And what do we do when we are sad? Add to cart." No.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Add to cart. And he says,
A
no.
little cross shopping addiction. Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yes. It's real.
It totally.
It is real.
Yes.
And I've been listening to the
Yeah.
Minimalist podcast,
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Josh and Ryan, and now
Oh,
they've got a
yes.
new guy, and I forget his name. But he's amazing. They're
Yeah,
amazing,
okay.
and they really So it seems like it's about minimalism, but it's really not.
Well,
The podcast is about much deeper things.
okay. haven't
That's
listened
how
to
I've
that.
connected with my
Mm.
shopping addiction. Is so they have like key rules or guidelines that you can start. Have to ask myself. But one of the things I do now is I have my little Amazon cart, right? I put in my wish list, and you're
Oh.
supposed to wait. If it's more than $30, you have to wait 30 hours. And after that, if you still want it, then you can get it, right? And there's other
Yeah.
questions you can ask yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, that works every
That's a
time.
great
So
rule, yeah.
at night when I'm doom scrolling, I do doom scroll shopping too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need this, I need that. Ooh, this is great. And then literally by the next night or the next day, I'm looking at my cart. I'm like, ooh, no, I don't need that. What was I thinking? I don't need this.
Right.
This is way too much money.
Yeah.
So it helps, but there's
Those are good tips.
lots of things. But definitely, I just remember a moment in my life when my kids were gone. This was years ago, but this was the first time I really realized that I have a shopping addiction to cover. Alcoholism is just the reality of isms. It's a symptom, right? Drug use, all that is a symptom for other things. It's just to cover that. So, but they went to their dads, and I didn't realize that I was covering. And so I went out, I got all the things that I was like justifying it because I'm like going to the Dollar Tree, I'm going thrifting, I'm not spending a lot of money. And I get home, I dump all the shit on my bed, and I literally looked at it and I was like, I don't even want to open anything. I don't even want this shit. Why the fuck did I just buy all this stuff? Oh, and I had a pizza coming too. And I realized I was trying to fill that emptiness, that sadness that I felt with my babies being gone.
And it does feel it feels to me like it does
yeah.
temporarily.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I realized I had a huge problem, or that it was the same problem, the same behavior. When I went into Joanne Fabrics for 5 bottles of paint.
Yeah.
And I walked out with 2 bags of over 200.
Oh my God.
And I'm standing in like, the sliding doors, and I'm like,
Yes.
this is, oh my gosh.
I have a
I'm like,
problem.
yes.
Girl, that's me. Every time I walk into Target, I can't even look around Target. I don't even go there ever because they set up everything so cute. And all of a sudden, I will go in to get 2 things. I come out with 10 things I did not need. But I love their clearance section. So,
Well,
God,
it's
you
like
get
home
quality
goods for me.
stuff. Yes.
I don't need another salad plate.
Home goods. Yes. I don't even go in there. Last one.
They're
You ready?
so cute though.
Okay.
Okay. Just words again. Please don't judge me on who I dated in active addiction. I was higher than my standards.
Woo-hoo!
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ooh, that's kind of
At
dark
Trap
humor.
House Testimonies.
That's a dark humor.
Yeah. Well,
What do you think of it?
I think keep your squats low and your standards high.
I love that. Okay, and it's funny you say that because standards was the word that stuck out to me because now I've been in this space. I've been single now 3 years, but I haven't been single. I've been in a relationship with myself, getting to know myself, getting to love myself.
Yeah.
And I remember like I've been trying to maybe go on dates here and there, or like hang out with someone I'm interested in here and there. But I came home at the time I had 2 roommates and I'm like, I think I'm too picky. I think I love myself so much now. I think I value myself so much now. I don't want anybody else.
Yeah.
And I think it was Holly who said, Bridge, it's not that you're picky. It's just you have standards now. I'm like, oh, I love that.
Yes.
It's so important for me to flip things and make it positive how I talk to myself. So instead of being like, oh, it's me, I'm too picky. And now I'm like, no, I got standards for myself now because I value myself now.
Well, and when you were talking about being a people pleaser, I always say I was a conformer. Like a people, I'll just drink the Kool-Aid, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, standards. I mean, for sure.
Okay. Have you had fun? It's already been an hour. Can you believe it? 9:04.
I know.
Okay, so Ashley, give a shout out to your the sober curator.
Yes.
Also, if you want to shout out where that you're working, but also your sponsors podcast again, because I definitely want to. I re-listened to all the show at least once, twice, sometimes 3 times.
Well,
but I want to check her out too. So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna
final words, and then let me check the comments. It's crickets tonight, but that also could be my subscription.
Oh, okay.
Change.
What? Okay.
We'll talk about that off camera.
Okay. So three podcast shout outs. My sponsors podcast is called That's Not in the Book.
Okay.
And also a podcast greater than yourself. And these are all people, they all know each other.
Cool.
And Recovery Radio. So those are the 3 podcasts that have literally changed my life and instrumental in my understanding of the program in the last year. So those are the podcast shout outs. Chris Raymer, I don't know if you know him. He's a very well-known AA speaker person.
Very familiar.
Okay. He was texting me today, which is shout out to him and my bestie Michelle. What? Shout out to you and Mohana.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's sleeping over at my house tonight.
Oh, fun.
He's taking me here to the airport.
Oh, okay, cool. Wow, so you're going to be tomorrow.
Early. Yeah.
Dang, girl, that's awesome.
But how can people find your stuff on the Sober Curator?
Well, let's see. The lifestyle section has Sober Sweat. Lifestyle section, Sober Sweat. There's under the travel section, there's Sobriety in the City. Cool. Minneapolis, St. Paul. I've got a couple things on curated crafts, but I think if you just Google Ashley Sunderland Sober Curator or Minnesota. But there's so many awesome articles on and other sober curators that contribute. That's just a great resource for people. So can't go wrong.
I think it's super cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And 2024 is, we just had our monthly meeting and there's some cool things happening. So
awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
And see, what I love about what you guys do is you make recovery look freaking awesome. It's actually legit cool.
Yeah,
to
and it is.
Not, be in the party scene or I am always in the party scene, but I'm clear-minded. Like I look at it as I'm authentic and I have to fight through the uncomfortable, awkward, trying to flirt, not trying to flirt, having a weird, not weird conversation. But at least it's me.
Right.
And if someone likes my weird ass,
you and your high standards.
I wasn't like, foggy minded or I didn't have this temporary confidence. It's like whether sometimes I'm confident, sometimes I'm not, but at least I'm me. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love us folks in recovery is like, especially with the holidays coming up, like I think it's more admirable for us because we choose every day to be clear-minded, to be authentic, and it's not perfect. It's not far from perfect, right? But we go through the pains and the struggles, but we go through it like legit, no escaping, no covering a blanket, substance use, none of that. Like, so all the people in my recovery family, recovery community, I instantly love just because I know we're going through some shit and we're doing it all the way through. We ain't escaping. That's why I really don't like spending holidays with people that are drinking or doing whatever else. Because I'm like, oh, they're not being themselves. I don't even want to talk to them anymore because like are they going to remember this conversation anyway? And is this really them? I don't know. You know, I don't like that term liquid courage because that wasn't always the case for me. Sometimes it was, but a lot of times that wasn't why I was. You know, you didn't want me to be courageous then. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, yes.
I'm so glad we got this
time in Costa Rica. I can't wait to hear about it. I'd love to go sometime.
Yeah, I know some Costa Ricans be listening to the show right now. It's I'm coming there. I'm going to be recording some podcasts with them to bring back here. So
tune in for sure.
But I'll see you on the flip side. The Twin Citizen concert.
Yes, I just got tickets. Yep, I just got tickets last night.
I haven't been able to get tickets yet.
I don't think I've even met Adam. I don't even know. We are friends on Facebook, but
he's so
cool. I'm creeping on all of their.
They're so attractive, but they're all taken.
Like, okay.
Yeah, see, they're all taken. Oh, and Adam's he's got a cute little baby too.
Well, I can't wait to see them.
Their families are
nice.
nice.
The first time, so.
Oh, but they're just so like genuinely like are appreciative to anybody who comes to any of their shows.
And I listened to your interview with them.
And
that was very cool.
That was probably one of my best interviews. Like you could just tell everything
great.
that they said was from the heart.
Yep.
And funny.
So shout out to them.
Shout out Twin Citizens. Yeah, if you guys have a chance, Ashley and I will be at that show.
Little VIP
January
backstage,
5th?
maybe? I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fancy.
January 5th.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my ticket.
Cool.
But I'm just gonna buy one ticket because every time I buy 2 tickets, it seems like I struggle and I stress out more trying to find somebody. We're gonna go together.
Yeah, I was like, I told
you be my wing woman.
Like, I'm just gonna crash tag along with you guys.
Yep, absolutely.
That'll be great.
Please, yes. If you ever see me in the corner by myself,
I have great shoes. I got some shoes to wear already.
Yes. Ooh, I gotta give you some. I gotta give you some shoes.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody.
Good
Thanks
night.
for listening. Thank you, Ashley. And have a great week. And I will not see you this coming Sunday. No guarantees. Depends on what the internet's like over in Costa Rica. Otherwise, for sure, there'll be a great show after that one. All right. Let me find my favorite.
Rock on.
Rock on, rock on. Returning home.